This is something else that might be kind of crazy. So Najee Jeter was on his Twitter account, and he did like a quick little post and delete. And that's like normal for celebrities to do post and deletes, except for this post and delete was him in a mocap suit. And it was actually looking like it could be a possibility of like a Spider-Man 2 sequel getting made right now. I mean, we all know that there's going to be another Spider-Man because of how well it did for the PlayStation. Now, I guess my question would be, was this a Spider-Man thing, or maybe he was doing another game? I mean, Najee has done voiceovers for many other games, and so I mean, it's like it's great to assume that it's Spider-Man.
I would think it would have to be Spider-Man related. I mean, I can't imagine them seeing the success of Miles Morales and them not just immediately, let's start next one. Let's immediately start working on Spider-Man 2 and gobbling him up immediately. Mm-hmm. And he's got to know that's what he's most famous for right now, is his role in Spider-Man 2. So I would think he would want to personally also focus his fame, right, in the direction that's most, exciting for him right now, right? Focus his flame, in the direction that's going to get him, the most success. And I think that's with Miles Morales. I think like he's found a lot of success here with this character and this role. And so that's what I think he would want to feed that flame. And so that's why I think he would show himself in a mocap, which would definitely feed that flame. Like, I think he knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And the question I have, though, is what is this? I know that you thought it was just a cameo. I think Miles Morales was so well received that I think Insomniac and Sony want to incorporate him in a much bigger role in the second Spider-Man.
So, but you think that it's just like a sequel to Spider-Man for PS4?
Yes.
And that he'll just be in it more, as opposed to him just getting his own game.
Yes, I think he'll be in it more in Spider-Man 2. He might even get his own game too. But I think like they're going to incorporate him because I liked him a lot. Like I really, really liked Miles Morales. I liked Miles Morales more than I liked Spider-Man 2. And I loved Spider-Man 2. Right. But just Miles Morales was so good. The characters were so much more likable. I liked the ending a lot on Miles Morales 2. It just was really, I said 2. It's not Spider-Man 2, but it's like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But Miles Morales edition of Spider-Man, because I really enjoyed it. And so I can see them going like a GTA route, right? Where like you have multiple characters and you're just maybe selecting and jumping between them as you need quests to complete. And maybe like, Miles is in this part of the city and Peter's in that part of the city. And you're kind of like, I'll play as Peter until I run out of things to do. And then I'll pull up my little mini map and go possess or whatever Miles and do his things and kind of maybe do that type of thing. I'm not saying it will be that, but I'm saying I can see them going that route to really incorporate both of them, together.
Yeah, I can see them trying to combine the two. I mean, but my problem would be like, I feel like Spider-Man himself, Peter Parker, is a big enough character, of course, to carry his own game. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now Miles Morales has become a big enough character to have his own game. So I feel like Miles Morales would literally just be like swinging through like a couple meetups or something like that with Peter, but it would be still a game about Peter Parker. And then Miles Morales would have his own, and maybe they go off and do like, some Into the Spider-Verse type stuff or something like that or whatever, and try to branch off, because I mean, the original Miles Morales, Peter is supposed to be dead. There's supposed to be no Peter. So the fact that you keep bringing Peter in, you know what I mean? It just is like, it definitely veers off of the comic path, but like, sure. I don't know exactly where they're going with it.
Well, because at the end of Miles Morales, they were both patrolling, so clearly Peter's not dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
I know he's not dead in this game, but in the comics, he's supposed to be dead when Miles Morales comes around.
Right.
So I just don't know where they're going, but I feel like I would rather have Miles Morales as his own game and then Peter Parker as his own game. And then they have like two different stories. Sometimes they cross and co-mingle.
Oh, so you would rather it be their own game?
I would rather they be separate, yeah.
Okay.
I would rather they give Miles Morales a large enough game like they gave Spider-Man in the PS4 and then that there's still another Spider-Man for the PS4 game. Like I would hate for them to try to put those two in there together, because I feel like one would get outshined by the other, and it would be like, well, why'd you even put the other character in there? You know what I mean? So it's like you're gonna have like a 50-50 game. You know, you're gonna try to Last of Us 2 this. Like I don't.
Well, I hope they don't go the Last of Us 2 route where you're playing through half the game as one character and then you switch. I would rather the GTA route where both are playing in the world and you're just switching between them as you want to. That's how I'd prefer it. But we'll see. Maybe he'll just be a cameo, or maybe he'll be more involved. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah. But I think clearly him doing that shows that they are literally in the middle of making that game.
For sure. I mean,
and
that's
that can be the exciting.
The only reasonable explanation as to why they would have ripped that picture off of there.
Hey,
as soon
dude.
As he posted it.
Hey,
no, you can't do that.
No one knows this, man. What are you doing? Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, like, I mean, Spider-Mans have had a trend of doing this, right? You know, Tom Holland has done that plenty of times where he accidentally shared some information that he shouldn't have, and they immediately ripped that from the internet. But once it's out there, it's out there.
Right.
So I'm glad that they're, you know, still making them. You know what I mean? And,
Absolutely.
Insomniac is working on a couple of other things.
Those games are so popular. Spider-Man 2 sold so many copies. Morales sold so many copies.
Probably sold copies on copies because they had the PS4 version and then they had the PS5
rebought it,
version,
right?
So.
You rebought the PS5 version. Like, it's awesome, man. Like, so...
So, I mean, maybe we'll hear something about it, you know, by the end of 2022. I kind of think that this probably wouldn't come out until 2023, no?
Probably. We'll probably hear about it next year. Maybe the end of next year, but definitely probably 2023.
Like mid 2023.
I hope it's early to mid, not like the end of 2023. Yeah. I hope it's sooner than that.
Right.
But we'll probably definitely start to see things summertime next year of this game, footage and stuff of this game, which is exciting.
Hopefully, you know, that they started making it, or at least doing all the coding and stuff like that for the world as soon as they got done.
Right.
With the
That's
first
what I'm
two.
hoping. I'm thinking,
You know
once
what I
they
mean?
saw how awesome this game was received, they immediately dumped resources to get another one out. You know.
And I mean, it's probably fairly simple to just build off of the world because they're still in the same city. You know what I mean?
I
You're
agree.
just gonna add more things to it and take some of the things away that you did in there.
It's like we were talking about
but
with Horizon Forbidden West, right? Like, or like I said, once you built that first shoe, the second shoe should be much easier to make because you're just building off what you've already built. You already have the architecture there. Just build it. Because I thought Miles Morales looked plenty beautiful enough. I don't expect it to be that much more beautiful. Just use that architecture and give us a new experience, right?
Right, yeah. Just add some new things into the world. You're still in New York, you know what I mean? Unless you're adding a different scenario. And that's why I feel like they could be separate games because, like, you have all of the stuff that Peter Parker's done, but, you know, you have all of the trippy, like, different, like, to the right, you know, stuff that
the
Miles
only
Morales
reason
has
why,
been
like,
into.
I don't know necessarily what will happen with that. It just depends. They're making both the games at the same time because I don't know how. Because right now the hype is with Miles, not really with Peter, and so I would think you'd want to capitalize on
off the Miles hype.
Right. So would you just forgo Spider-Man 2 and go Miles Morales standalone or 2?
Yeah.
That's why I don't know. That's why my mind jumps to the, you know, they're playing together. That way you're kind of capitalizing on both, you know? Otherwise you're waiting until 2025, 2026 for the next Miles game if you're trying to do a standalone. If you're just trying to do another DLC, it's shorter, it can come out sooner. But if you're trying to do a full-on standalone Miles, that's years out. And I think they would want to capitalize on the hype now. But there's no way to know. Like, we're completely speculating here.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking you'd want to definitely capitalize on the excitement people have for Miles right now.
For sure.
In some way, shape, or form, you know? So
yeah. It would be also cool if they could start incorporating some of the shit that's happening in the Marvel's universe with some of these games. Like, you can actually see some of the changes or whatever that get done, you know?
Dude, totally.
Like the sacred timeline.
I would like that. That's really cool.
That would be
yeah.
tight. If they could start incorporating
if they can
Marvel
really get
games
the canon lore together.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can. Or even just pieces.
Well, I mean, I think
right? Even just pieces.
Marvel still owns the... Actually, maybe that's Sony.
No,
that
Sony owns
that. Yeah, they still have Spider-Man just all in total. So, yeah, but, you know, on to the next...
I love you.